Hey, what's going on, guys? I hope you guys are having a good day. I'm Dr. Boyce Watkins from Your Black World and the Black Business School. And I want to say hello to everybody. I am here actually in Butt Crack, Iowa right now. We're about to actually get ready for this race we're supposed to run tomorrow. You guys know I'm on this weight loss journey. And as part of that journey, I'm going to be running my first marathon pretty soon. Am I tired from running? Yes, I am, Ramona. Running has been wearing me out. Also, I have this toe thing going on, so it's kind of this blister, but it's like it just hurts. It hurts, like it feels like somebody kicked me in my toe. But anyway, I'm not going to be up for too late. But sometimes I like going live at night because I get a chance to talk to people around the world who are in a different time zone. And also, I didn't get a chance to talk to you much today, so I thought I would jump in real quick and say hello. Shout out the city that you're coming in from. Shout out your city. And I'd like to shout back, hey, what's going on? Right on, run on, says God is mother. Thank you so much. Con man, Larry Hurt, what's going on, man? Good to see you. Money Mindset, what's up, man? D-Love, how you doing? What am I doing up? I shouldn't be up, not for too much longer, but I just like to work every day. It's just a habit I have. You just got to stay consistent in your life. Jose, how you doing? Resilience. Wells, Tara B, educated black man. That's what I'm talking about. Ramona Blake, love Ramona Blake. Let's see, D Love, Glenda from Atlanta, Tara B from Baltimore, Stephen Nix from Jacksonville, Florida. I heard that you guys might actually get Antonio Brown. I heard he's working for minimum wage now since he got kicked out of the Patriots. He'll probably work for about $8 an hour. Went from $30 million to about $30 an hour. And actually, Antonio Brown is an interesting example of a financial lesson. A lot of people think that that the only time you can make a good investment is when you're talking about a quality company, or for example, athletes are an investment, and people think that Antonio Brown's now a bad investment because he's messed up and all that, but that's not true. In investing, the quality of the investment depends on the price you pay relative to what it's worth. So Antonio Brown could become the best investment in the NFL. So if there's some team, where he says, look, I'll come play for $1 million guaranteed and just give me, $10 million if I perform, then that could be the best investment in the league that year. So never think that a bad company can't be a good investment. Sometimes the best investments you make are in distressed companies. Like Warren Buffett does this all the time. He goes and finds the Antonio Browns of the financial world, the companies that are looking like garbage, looking terrible. He buys those companies and he turns them around, or he's able to get a good performance. That's what you call value investing. So Antonio Brown will probably have a future in the NFL, I believe, but he's not gonna make $30 million guaranteed. Guaranteed money is for the safe investments. Guaranteed money is the premium you pay for a reduction in risk. Antonio is a very risky investment, but he's still a good investment because he can still catch those balls. He's still arguably the best wide receiver in the NFL. That hasn't changed, But then again, if he keeps messing around, he'd be playing in the Canadian Football League or doing some arena football. I see in New York City. How you doing? I see you in here. Crypto Ream, good to see you. Secure the bag. Then that crazy. That's what I'm talking about. Alan Warfield, buy him high, buy low, sell high. Exactly. That's what it is. All right. So hit the thumbs up button. Please hit the thumbs up button. Please hit the share and subscribe button. Hello to everybody on Instagram at The Real Boyce Watkins, and hello everybody on YouTube at drboycetv.com. Now, call me weird, call me stupid. I don't know. It doesn't matter. But I've been really interested and intrigued by this testimony regarding Tekashi 69. Tekashi 69. I read his story in detail on the New York Times. Now, the New York Times, it looks like they're not letting me read the article without paying money right now. So I should probably go ahead and just get a subscription. But they wrote a really detailed article about his case. And if you don't know anything about it, Tekashi 69 is this rapper. You almost call him a former rapper, because he's a guy that was really, really big in the hip hop industry. He blew up super fast, and I remember seeing him blow up. And I remember saying, oh, okay, so white people found a new Bobby Schmurder, another young kid that they're going to fuck his life up too, because that's what they do. They screw your life up, and because they get you out here doing stuff that's going to make you look stupid, and also stuff that isn't going to play out well for you long term, right? You know, you get these young kids when you're 18, 19, 20. It's the same way they like to only send young people in, you know, to go to war, because people, you know, people who go to war, older people are like, no, I don't want to go to war. I don't want to get my legs blown off. I don't want to die, right? You know, they're like, no, you go to war. How about you go to war? If you want to send us to war, then you go actually fight. Send your damn kids. But kids, young people, they fall for, you know, they fall for the bullshit. They fall for the whole like, oh, it's patriotic, and oh, we're doing this to defend the country. When really you might just be going over to Iraq to go get some oil for an oil company. Literally, you working for the oil companies, and you think that you're working for America. You think you're doing the right thing, but really you are an employee of the oil companies as they go over here and blow up Libya or Iran or Iraq or whatever, so they can get, you know, more resources. The whole fight is over resources. That's what it's always all about. Well, anyway, I read this really good New York Times article about Bobby Schmurder 2.0, aka Tekashi 69, and it was fascinating to read this article because they went into exhaustive detail of all the rituals involving, you know, the 9 Trey Bloods, which he was allegedly a member of, exactly how he met them, how he got into bed with them financially, how things eventually went south. And what's fascinating, here's the thing, right? So some of y'all, so people who don't understand me and the way we roll on this platform, this is a platform for intelligent Black people. This is our tribe for intelligent Black people. Those who don't understand how we roll would say, why the fuck is a finance guy talking about, you know, a rapper? Like, why would he be talking about this? You know, well, here's the thing, right? You know, you guys have seen me on shows like The Breakfast Club and stuff like that. And one of the things I notice, and most of you probably notice this, is that young Black people care about money. Like, money is life or death for a lot of people. Money is a huge fascination for most of our community. Money is something that kids die for every day. And I'm an expert on money. I know exactly how it works. I know what it does to your mind. I know what it does to your community. I know what it does, you know, when you can actually access it. I know what it takes to obtain it, right? And so a lot of times I love seeing these stories. I like stories, and I love stories that really show how money shapes everything that people do, all the choices they make, the incentives, who they marry. You know, Tekashi 69 is in jail over money. He's in prison because of money, or in New York they call it shmoney, because Bobby Schmurder was doing the shmoney dance. But let me break this down. So here's where money seeps into this whole equation. When I was reading in detail about this, because I don't like talking about shit I don't understand, right? So first of all, I'm not going to act like I understand everything about gang culture. You know, I ain't trying to you know, tell you exactly how the 9 Trey Bloods do business or nothing like that. I just know when I saw Tekashi's video, I saw a lot of Black people, you know, who were as smart as you and I, who, you know, could do anything in this world, who are trying to survive like everybody else. I also know that that basically Tekashi, you know, formed that connection and that relationship because Tekashi was broke. You know, Tekashi grew up, you know, he didn't have a dad and all this other stuff. And then on top of that, he went was wild. That again. Nah, fuck you, Jay. I'm gonna do it again as many times as I want. So just so you know, you tell me not to do something, that's gonna make me do it. Anyway, get that. So anyway, so let's keep going. So the so here's the thing. So Tekashi is he forms a relationship with the 9 Trey Bloods, largely because somebody basically invited him to make this music or whatever. And then he's introduced to these individuals who are smart in the sense that they understand that there's brand value. There's brand value in you know, in you know, street cred. You know, street cred is so what they call cultural capital, right? There's economic value when it comes to you know, when it comes to basically you know, saying I've been validated by the street, right? You know, because the brand of the Bloods, the brand of the Hood, the brands of the Crips, they're billion-dollar brands, just like, you know, Gucci and Armani and Louis Vuitton and everything else. And so you know, so basically it seemed like there was a transaction, a trade, where they said, look, we'll give you brand value if you just make sure you take care of us, right? So as they called it in the article, they talked about it as feeding the wolves. Make sure you feed the wolves, right? So he fed the wolves, and they made a trade, and they put out this video, Gummo, and Gummo did really, really well. It got hundreds of millions of views, an enormous amount of money in a very short period of time. And one of the things, the only thing that's harder than being broke sometimes is having money, right? Like some people think it's harder to be broke than it is to have money. Some people think it's harder to have money than it is to be broke. Depends on which side of the spectrum you're on. Because like Diddy always say, more money, more problems. Well, for Tekashi, when the money started going up, they went back. And one thing I remember him mentioning also in the testimony, where he seemed to be real thorough about everything he talked about, is he talked about basically how there was a formula. He said, okay, we figured out a formula. And he said, okay, so let's do the same thing again. That's what corporations do, by the way. That's how corporations get you. That's how they know for a fact. They know before they put out Black Panther 2 to make, 0.5 billion. Popeye's Chicken did the same damn thing. So basically Tekashi, just like Popeye's Chicken, just like Disney, had a formula. He said, okay, I get the formula. The formula is, show your flags and your colors in the video, show a lifestyle, show guns, show whatever, right? Now, again, this is a problem for young Black men because you're snitching on yourself, right? You're basically telling, you're putting your face on the video. The feds is always watching. There is a such thing as a hip hop police because that's low hanging fruit for them. They know, like, look, if we just want to go make a bunch of busts, all we got to do is show up to the studio or go to a concert, and we're gonna get a whole bunch of people. So Tekashi does this thing where he's putting out these videos, doing extremely well. A lot of money's coming in, and then it seemed that it got to the point where certain people, when you have certain people that you're taking care of, usually when you see relationships fall apart where people used to be tight and they're not tight anymore, it's usually because there was an expectation that was set that was not met later on. You're usually paying me this much, and now you're paying me that much, and I feel entitled to this much. And I've had that problem. I mean, you've seen cases where somebody maybe says, Boyce Watkins didn't pay me, he didn't pay me what I thought I was worth. Well, that might have been because I said, look, I'm not going to pay you more because you haven't done your job, or you're not worth it, or we just don't have the money. But if people are used to this much, this is why when you start your business or whatever you do, be very careful about what you commit to with people, or even if you don't make a commitment, if it's an implicit commitment, like if you bring them in and you're paying them $300 a week consistently, then they're going to start expecting $300 a week. So if one day you show up and you say, hey, I can only give you 150 because the budget got cut, our money's messed up, I can give you 150, but not 300. Then they're not going to say, oh, well, this person is giving me 150 a week and they didn't have to give me anything. They're going to say, you stole 150 a week from me. That's how they're going to see it. And I know this because I talked to a guy who created a company. He started with almost nothing. He grew the company to $20 million a year, I believe, or I think that was what they were making. They were making an insane amount of money. So what he did was he took care of the homies, right? He brought in cousins and friends that were, they had GEDs and whatnot, and was paying them like $250,000 a year, right? Taking good care of them, all this other stuff. And then the money got messed up where their annual income dropped from 20 million to 10 million a year. So he had to go back to these same people and say, hey, I know I was paying you $250,000 a year. Now I got to pay you 180,000. And he said that the people that he got the worst response from was not like the people that he wasn't taking care of. It was the people that he took care of the most. A lot of times the people you take care of the most are the ones who get the most pissed off when you cut back, because they're used to this money. They become addicted to the money. And the way an addict, money addicts you just like a drug does. And a drug addict goes crazy when they can't get their drug, right? So basically, you got to really be thoughtful about, like, when you come up, you got to be careful about like getting people addicted to your money, right? You might want to be nice and all this other stuff. But literally, one thing I learned over time, for example, is it's very hard to get me to hire you permanently unless I know that money's really there. Usually I'll say, we got a job. It's going to be 3 months. And then 3 months, it's going to be over. You do understand that, don't you? And then, and then if you want to extend, you can. But if you don't, but if you don't say that, then they're going to think that money's always there. And then next thing you know, you'll be saying it's time for you to go. And they'll be like, but I got rent to pay. I got bills to pay. I got to take care of my kids. And you'll be like, if you're the boss, and this is all the boss, everybody who in the room who wants to be a boss. If you want to be a boss one day, if you're trying to be a boss, raise your hand, say something in the chat. Let me know if we got bosses in the room or future bosses in the room. But if you want to be a boss, the thing is that people will become addicted to whatever you're giving them, and they're going to expect that. And then they're going to get to the point where they're going to say, that nigga robbed me because they're not taking care of me anymore, not paying my bills anymore. Like, because I had that issue actually with a person that, this kind of, she's out there now. She's Yvette Carnell, who started the ADOS movement. Just to be, completely authentic about it. There was times where she was like, Boyce never paid me enough. He never gave me enough. I can't live off of that. I can't pay my rent off that. And I was like, but you never paid my rent, not once. Like, we were friends. We were both struggling. I was just trying to help you out. Like, since when did I become responsible for paying the rent of a grown ass woman that we're not dating? You're not my child. Like, why am I responsible for, why are you telling people that I didn't pay your rent? Like, should I go out and say, well, she didn't pay my rent. You didn't pay my rent. You raggedy bitch. You paid my rent. I didn't have enough money to blah, 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 blah. No, so at the end of the day, like, people, it's like you have to be cautious about expectations that you set with people and how they view you, right? When you become more successful, people view you as like a cash cow, or they look at you like you're a corporation, or like you're a person that can like change their life and carry them. And sometimes you get to the point, you're a black man, you got to carry yourself, right? So I'll tell you, like, just thinking about that, when I saw the thing with Tekashi, I don't think this dude was ready for the life that he was walking into. I think that it was all about him being lured in by the money. I think also people seemed to trust him very quickly because they knew they could get money from him, right? They saw him put out the video, the money's coming in, everything's good. So it's like, okay, we're really going to trust this guy. And I was like, well, how long? I was trying to look at the math, and I was like, how long was he really a member of the gang? It didn't seem like he was only there for a few months. And then they said, did you go through any initiations to even prove that you really wanted to be in this gang or whatever? And he's like, no, I didn't really go through the initiation. So basically his money was the initiation. And why is that important? Well, because a lot of us do that. We allow money to be somebody's initiation into your life. Jeffrey Epstein used his money to initiate his way into people's lives, where they didn't check the fine print. They didn't check his background. They didn't check to see what he was bringing into their life. They just said, well, he got money, so I'm gonna let him in. Women do that too. When a man's got money, I've seen a lot of women let a man into their life and get very close to them just because he's rich, or because he seems like your dreamboat. He's like the man of your dreams, and he's got, all this wealth and all this money and everything. So you're like, oh my God, girl, I met a doctor, but you don't really know what this man's bringing to you. He could be bringing all kinds of chaos and diseases and mental illness or whatever. So you have to be really cautious. So in this case, Tekashi was invited right in and made the face of the organization for the most part, because he gained that power because he put out this viral video. And so basically, if you think about it, Tekashi 69 was pretty much all he really was he was like a studio gangster, internet superstar, overnight internet superstar. The internet and YouTube can make you famous in a weekend, right? So a lot of times we see people that are famous on the internet, and we don't actually realize this person has very little experience, very little infrastructure, very little to add to the world, other than the fact that they had some videos that went viral. And we think that means that they're actually doing something meaningful, right? You have a lot of people that have big, YouTube channels, and they think, okay, well, now I'm like the president of the United States, so I'm going to go make announcements and make grand plans and grand gestures and act like I have all this authority, when really, you've been known on the internet for 3 months. That's not the same as actually having put in work for over a long period of time, right? So you compare Tekashi, who was internet famous for 9 months, to somebody who, like an OG, like, I don't know, somebody like, say, a Jay Prince. Jay Prince has been, not to say he's, not to talk about what he's affiliated with, but he's been in the hip hop game 25, 30 years. He was back, he was one of the people that I think helped put the Ghetto Boys on, and a lot of other, really influential groups. So he's part of the foundation. Or you look at a LL Cool J or somebody like that, or even a Russell Simmons, or people that have actually developed infrastructure, versus somebody who literally just popped on the scene, put out a video. The video is really cool. They borrowed, the bank for Tekashi was the 9 Trey Bloods. They provided him the cultural capital. Capital is something that somebody provides you to allow you to start a business. So no different from the way a bank loans you a bunch of capital to go start a company or to go buy a building. They loaned him cultural capital that allowed him to go and make a bunch of money putting out the videos. And it fell apart apparently because the money kind of got weird and kind of got funny. And then there was a lot of confusion, a lot of craziness and stuff like that. So I think it's worth reading the story in terms of understanding like what actually happened. His testimony is very, very interesting and very, very specific. I think that it's going to happen again. Hip hop is very seductive. Hip hop will suck these young kids in, and they don't even know what they're dealing with. And because it's going to happen again. There's another Tekashi 69 right around the corner. They do what they can to try to find young black kids or Hispanic kids or whatever who are trying to eat, and they get them to go out and take black cultural capital and sell it and to white people who are fascinated with that shit. And then your ass ends up going to prison. You're the one who ends up getting 45 years, whatever, on weapons charges because you run around New York, a state that has really strict gun laws. You run around New York holding up, AR-15s and whatever the hell those guns are they got in the camera. Like that's not intelligent, but it usually works well with young guys who ain't got no money and don't have fathers to really guide them away from that nonsense. So I feel kind of bad. I actually feel bad for the kid a little bit. Because I don't think when I listen to him, I'm like, okay, I'm seeing the human side of him as opposed to this character he created, right? I'm seeing a kid where if he'd listened, maybe he could have been mentored by somebody like me, and I would have told him like, come on, man, you're very smart. Like you can make money in a lot of ways, or you can even make money as a rapper. But let's talk about how you can do what D1 is doing. Like D1 is coming to the All Black National Convention, and D1 and I talk all the time, and we talk about business. We talk about marketing. I talk about what I see in terms of the opportunities that exist in hip hop, and I think that's a way that you can still make your money, but you don't have to sacrifice your soul and put your life on the line and end up in all these crazy situations. And I think that's what we could probably pick up from this, but it's just a thought. So maybe it helps you, maybe it doesn't. So anyway, thank you, HPL, for your donation. I really appreciate it. I'll put the money back into the community. And also do me a favor, hit the thumbs up button. Please hit the thumbs up button if you haven't done this. Also hit that notification bell so you'll be notified every time we go live. Last but not least, don't forget All Black National Conventions next weekend. So you can go to allblacknationalconvention.com. That's allblacknationalconvention.com if you want to come out, or you can watch the live stream at allblackeducation.com. All Black Education gives you access to all the previous conventions, all kinds of lectures and all kinds of educational stuff for the whole family, including all of our films, the 3-hour lecture I did with Farrakhan, as well as a bunch of other stuff. So feel free to go check that out at allblackeducation.com. So hit the thumbs up button if you haven't done that. And I'm about to get out of here, guys. And yeah, DDS, you're right. Actually, if you want to learn to buy your first share of stock, you can go to blackmoney100.com, or you can just go to theblackbusinessschool.com and try a free membership and talk to one of our experts on the line. They'll talk to you about your economic journey. So let's see. I see you guys just chatting with each other, so I'm about to bounce up out of here. So have a good night, everybody, and I'll let you guys know how this race goes. Talk to you later. Peace.